Good. Good morning. Good morning, guys. We are good to go. Can you guys see my slide? Yes, we are good to go. Now, let's go straight to today's business. Today's business is going to be on sculpture. It's going to be on sculpture. We are going to be working more on sculpture. Hmm? We are going to be talking more on sculpture. So, who can remind me of our last topic we treated last? Or let me quickly run clay for you so that we move straight. Let me introduce you to clay before we move to sculpture. Many of you must have forgotten what we treated last week. Now let's go straight to clay. In the next 2 minutes, I want to run it all over before we go straight to the new topic. Clay is an earthly materials which becomes soft and sticky when wet. It becomes hard when dry and fired at a high temperature. If you have a clay, the clay must be sticky when it is wet. If you have a clay and it's not sticky, it's not a clay, it's just ordinary sand. Every clay must have element of a chemical called colloid that makes the clay to be sticky when it is wet. And when that clay is dried or fired at a high temperature, it become harder or it become stronger than the way you found your clay. We have formation or sources of clay. Most of our clay formation in Africa and elsewhere result from a long time weathering of granite rocks. That is the composition of rocks in continuous and it's also in a supply of clay. Clay is sometimes moved from one place to the other. Clay is sometimes moved from a particular point to another, either by wind or by formation or by water. Anyhow, it has been moved from that particular point. And we made mention, if you could remember, we made mention of primary clay. We made mention of secondary clay. If you could remember about the two types of clay we mentioned. Are you guys following me? So we are talking about primary clay is the kind of clay that has not been dug or that has not been moved from its original site of formation. Is still a fresh clay, meaning that it has not been transported by any natural agent at all. It is pure and free of impurity. When you're talking about something is still pure, that means nothing has been contaminated about that product. Just for example, you went to the talk shop, you bought your donut. You know the donut is still fresh. It has not been contaminated. The moment the donut drops on the floor inside the sand, it has been contaminated. So it means that that clay is, I'm sorry, that donut is not a primary donut again. We can term it to be a secondary donut because it has been dropped inside the sand. And there's no way you want to eat that donut without you cracking your teeth with stones. So if you want to now get the clay back to its normal, sorry, the donut back to its original formation, you have to do what we call clay preparation. Let us not waste much of our time on that. Now let's go to secondary clay. This is the type of clay that has been moved away from the site or spot of formation. Such clay, when obtained, contains foreign particles which constituted impurity and must be removed entirely before being used for molding. Before being used for molding. The impurity comes in many forms, and this includes decay vegetables, leaves, roots, twined that can be moved along during the movement of the clay from its primary source. And we have the properties of clay. The following are properties of clay. We have number one, the clay must be plastic, the clay must be flexible, and the clay must be pliable. That is to say, PFP, that is the meaning, PFP, meaning plasticity, flexibility, pliability. Number one, when you're talking about plasticity, it must be plastic. That is, it must have element of gum. It must have element of gum. When you are touching the clay, it must be gummy. It must have element of colloid. The chemical is called colloid. It must have that element. And number two, it must be flexible. You must be able to work with it. It must not be rigid. You must be able to turn the clay to your desired form. And number three, it must be pliable. You must be able to work with it. You must be able to work with it. You just want to make cake with your flour. As you are doing your flour, you are working with your flour. The flour must follow you the way you are flexing it. It must be plastic enough for you to mold it with something else. So the clay, the flour must not be rigid. It must not be breaking. Your clay must not be breaking. It must follow your instruction. So that is why these three properties must be involved in any clay. The clay you are seeing on the road that they are using for our roads, that red sand, is just a sand. It's not a clay. So a clay must be plastic, must be flexible, must be pliable. What are the uses of clay? Number one, clay is used to make ceramics wares. Either you want to use it for cup, pot, tiles. Clay is also used to mold sculptural pieces. Either you want to mold box, you want to mold some other art works. Clay is used to mold decorative items. We have ceramics. Ceramics, this is a product shaped and thin hardened by fire after heat, such as clay and other materials. Traditionally, pattern and well designed pots, vases and even statues are made from ceramics wares. It's also known as pottery. Now quickly, what are the techniques in ceramics? Number one techniques we have in ceramic is mold, cast method. We have scoop method, we have coil method, we have slab method, we have pinch method, we have throwing method. Sculpture. Sculpture. Sculpture is the representation or formation of objects in relief, solid or in the round. Sculpture is the representation of objects objects in relief, solid or in the round. Sculptural works are in the form of modeling, carving and construction. We treated this one last week. I'm only just doing a kind of recap so that we can open our mind to the new topic. Clay, stones, glass, wood, paper, ivory, cement, metal and wax are some of the materials you can use in sculpture. You can use clay in sculpture, you can use stones, you can use glass, you can use wood, you can use paper, you can use ivory, you can use cement. We have the metal sculpture, we have the wax sculpture. What are the types of sculptures? We have three of them: modeling, carving, construction. Modeling, this means building up of forms and shapes from clay, plasticine, cement and pulp paper. It involves both the additive approach Modeling means building up of forms and shapes from clay, plasticine, cement and pulp paper. This involves both the additive and subtractive method. Carving. Carving is a sculptural process that involves cutting, tracing or chipping off the unwanted or insignificant areas from a solid piece of wood, stones, soap, ivory to create a definite and recognizable form of shape. The last one, construction. This area of sculpture involves putting together pieces of materials to form a composition. These pieces are joined together through smithing, tying, gluing or wedging. Now, this is our topic for this week, crafts. Crafts. As you can see on the screen, crafts. We started it last week and we want to continue it this week. We are going to end it this week by the grace of God. Craft. Craft works are defined as the act of using bare hands with little or no technological assistance to produce various items of beauty in utilitarian purpose. Last week I made mention of calabash, mat weaving, cloth weaving, leather works. And we talked about their materials, we talked about the location and the functions. We talked about calabash. What are the materials for calabash? We have calabash gourd and paints, knives, nails, the location where you can find them in mass production. You can find more of calabash production in Oyo, in Abia, in Anambra State and Imo State. The function is number one, as a means of decoration, also used for storage. Calabash is also used for carrying loads or keeping load or storing food items or drinking water. Mat weaving, we have grass, raffia, palm rushes, local colours. We have the location in Oyo, Ekiti, Ojotun, Ondo, Ilesha, Ijesha, in Badagry in Lagos State. We have mat is used for recreation purposes. Decorative mats can also be used for fashion making. These days we use it for photo shoots also. Yes. Cloth weaving, you need a cotton and a local imported dye. Test fast. The location the location the location in Okere, okay, Okere, Akure, Oyo, Ìṣẹ́yìn, Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́. These are Ìkẹ́rẹ́, okay, Ìkẹ́rẹ́, Akure, Oyo, Ìṣẹ́yìn and Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́. It serves as a decorative item used as a wall hanging. Leather works, you need hide and skin thread, is popular in Sokoto, Kano, Yobe. The function is to enhance and retain decorative as a means of protection. Marketing of art products. Marketing of art products. Marketing of art products. Marketing is defined as the process of planning and executing the conception, pricing, promotion and distribution of ideas, goods, services, organizations and events to create and maintain relationship that will satisfy individual and organization objectives. Outlets of art products, where you can find artworks displayed for audience to appreciate and buy them. I made mention of number one, shops. Artworks can be displayed in a given space inside the shop for people to see and buy. Two, you can make use of hotels. Our five stars hotel have their mini galleries where artworks are displayed for their tourists or their clients that lodge in their hotels. Works of art are also displayed for the visiting lodgers to buy at the lobby entrance or at any other designated area in the premises. During festivals, artworks can be displayed for sales at the sales of artworks are the world over. If you're having any carnival, any festival, you will see artists displaying their beautiful works for sales for people to admire. You can make use of the gallery. This is another avenue where sales of artworks can be done. What are the sources of your funding of your art? What are the sources of your funding of your art? Number one, non-governmental organization can fund your art. Your community organization can fund your art. Government agencies can fund your art. National Gallery of Arts, the association you belongs to, institutions like banks, oil firms, schools, etc. can also sponsor your art. Even your parents or your relations can also sponsor your art. So that is what we really treated last week. So now let's go straight to creative and risk taking. Creative and risk taking. That's what we are going to be looking at today as our topic for this week. What do I call it? Creative and risk taking. Creative and risk taking. Creative and risk taking. Creative art. This involves the use of imagination to produce new ideas or things. Therefore, creative art can be said to be the power to bring to existence something that is not in existence by imagination. Creative art is subdivided into two, namely performing and literary art or visual art. We have the performing art and literary art and visual art. What is literary art or performing art? These are drama, play, dance. But visual art is all about art, graphic sculpture, things that you can see, that you can visualize. Now let's go to risk taking. What is risk itself? Risk is the act or fact of doing something that involves danger or risk in order to achieve a goal. Risk, this is the act or fact of doing something that involves danger or risk in order to achieve a goal. If you want to do something, there must be danger in it and you must take that risk so that you can achieve your goal. If you are running from danger, you won't achieve your goal. As an artist, you must dare it. You must go for it. You must not fear the danger of not winning. You must take that risk. That is why we are talking about creative and risk taking. Creative and risk taking. What are the processes involved in risk taking? Number one, creativity and living a unique life is about taking risk and being unconventional. Educated risk helps us to feel passionate and alive again as we realize our dreams are actually coming true. Creativity and living a unique life is about making risk and making unconventional risk. Educated risk help us to feel passionate and alive again as we realize our dreams are actually coming true. Creativity is necessary in risk taking. Number two, most of Picasso's would succeed or how success comes from being a risk taker. You must be a risk taker as an artist. Most of our parents would prefer their child to follow a safe mainstream occupation with a predictable income and boring daily routine rather than becoming a risky, unpredictable creative professional. Number three, like any creative discipline, life is a continual risk. There is a very little risk when you are true to yourself, but there is a great risk in telling lies, trying to be someone you are not. In fact, it is very dangerous to your health. Number five, not many people understand who they really are. Taking risk is essential to living a life full of excitement, curiosity, and wonders. So this is going to be the end of our lesson for today. By the time we meet again next week, sorry, by Friday when we meet, we are going to be having a live class where I'm going to be listening to our questions that you want to answer me, that also you want to ask me. I'll be available for you so that you can interact with me live, so that you can have more of our classes. Now, maybe before I leave you guys, maybe we should talk more on a particular topic that I think you can talk more, and music is on music. Maybe I should just introduce it a little bit, and we go straight. Now let's look at the history of music. The history of music. History of music is the study of past music events and the present or contemporary music issues, inventions and practices in different cultures. It is usually contained in the music literature as an important aspect of music. Learning that stimulates music appreciation is all about a encompassing creative mind. As you know that music is part of creative art. So your music teacher will come over to your class and have a class with you. Maybe I should invite your music teacher to come and talk to you about some musical aspect of this class. He's going to come and talk to you on some topics.
Okay, I'll be talking to you about singing. All right, so we know singing is definitely expressing yourself in a very organized way with sounds and tones and all of that. So let me read what is here. It says singing is a process of expression of feelings, thoughts, etc. by animals, birds, and human beings, you know, using their respective speech or vocal organs to produce concordant tones, sounds. In other words, the sounds are really orderly in a sense, while in man, there's a process that had enabled men to develop and be suited to the art of singing. You know, singing is the process and art of producing musical sounds with the aid of your voice. You get, like, you have to use your voice to produce this sound, and the sounds have to be organized. That is why it's called singing. It has to have tones, it has to have rhythm, it has to have melody, and all of those things. You get. So students are taught and encouraged to put their talents or gift of singing, using their voice into practical during music section. Definitely, you have to use your talent of voice. Voice is very important. There is no such thing as singing without a voice, you know. So the voice is important. That is why they say you have to use the voice into practically during musical session, in the classroom, studio, or during religious choral activities in church or in mosques, etc. Voice is one of the most powerful gifts entrusted to man for musical expressions. It is so powerful and enduring to such an extent that only a few have made serious efforts at efficient use of it for maximum benefit. Like, what they're trying to say is like the voice is underrated, you know. The voice is underrated. The voice cannot be overemphasized. Your voice is like everything. It just brings out everything that is in you. It brings it out, you know. It brings out the way you feel, brings out your emotions, anger, love, anything that you feel, fear, you know, regrets, passion, good things, bad things that you want to bring out of yourself. It has to come out through your voice. So, voice sings sound and lyrics of cultures during musical presentation better than other man-made instruments or music. You know, some musicians would rather use their instruments to produce music. Like, a guitarist would pick up his guitar and then play some notes, like just play something like that, just play certain notes, just improvise around, expressing their feelings. And then the vocalist too comes, uses her voice or his voice to sing. So the one that passes more message is usually the voice, because you can hear the words as it is. You understand? But the guitar or the pianist or all of that, you have to be very, very attentive to know what the person is trying to express. So it's more of the voice. If the voice sings, you just understand what it's saying. So now we have sofa notes of the scale. Everybody knows the sofa note, the regular do re mi fa sol la ti do re mi fa sol la ti do, ascending and descending, do ti la sol fa mi re do. So that is the sofa note of the scale. We have different scale. This is only the major scale. We have the minor scale, la ti do re mi fa sol la. You know, we have other scales also. We have pentatonic scale. We have many other scales. But basically, we'll be looking at the major scale, which is the do to do. So we have other things that we can use to train our voice so that singing will come easy. It's just like someone that is playing the piano too. If you don't play for a while, it leaves you. Even someone that types, a typist, if you don't type for a while, it leaves you. So it's the same thing as singing. Since your voice is what's important in singing, then you have to train your voice. So these are basic things that you can use to train your voice, like the scale, this major scale. If you just say do re mi, then do re mi do, re mi fa re, mi fa sol mi, fa sol la fa, sol la ti do. So you keep doing this day by day. You do it every time, maybe when you wake up in the morning or at night before you sleep. Just do it like everyday routine, you know. Do re mi fa sol la ti do, or you go do re do mi do fa do sol do la do ti do, and then you come back do ti do la do sol do fa do mi do re do, like that. Then you can also go with re mi fa sol, mi fa re do. Re sol la ti do, re sol la ti do, like that, on and on. Just pick any sequence and just keep repeating it, and make sure you are repeating it with the right pitch, with the right tone. So that will move us to pitch identification. That will move us to pitch identification, because if you don't recognize your pitch, if you don't recognize the pitch of your voice or of this particular note, you will just be singing, and even you, your ear will be telling you that you are singing something wrong. So what is pitch? Pitch is the height or the depth of a musical sound as it is expressed on the scale, like do, re, mi, fa. You see that we are going up like that. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. The first do is lower, while the last do is definitely higher. So that is pitch difference. Like it's either high or it's low. No note has the same pitch. Like every note has their own different pitches. So you have to understand that. That's why you have to open your ears so you can hear yourself, or you can record it and then listen to the playback. You get? So that's pitch. The scale of music serves to present array of musical sound in an orderly sense, that's scale that can be reorganized in specific manner to produce specific piece of music according to one's choice. So I'm going to give this instance. So now we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I could pick it and just say mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do, or just go with, okay, let me say the scale again. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Then you have do, ti, do, la, do, re, do, ti, la, sol, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re. So just pick this note and just do them, twist them, turn them, give them different sequence. That is how songs are produced. That is how music is produced. So everything still boils down to scale and your voice, your scale and your voice. So it is only when a particular musical sound or sounds are sung accordingly, then may one deduce specific sound or other pitch level and then tone timbre. So what this person is saying though is it's only when this scale, these tones, you sing it accordingly. That is when, like, you sing it in a very organized way. That is when pitch can be seen, and then that is when you can define what you're singing. Like you have to sing it accordingly. You have to sing it in a particular sequence. You can't just throw them here and there. You throw them here and there, it will become noise. So everything has to be organized. That is why music is different from noise. Sound, organized sound is music. So just disorganized sound is noise. So there's a difference between the two. And then that is where we see timbre, tone timbre. Like timbre means different kind of tone, different kind of sound. Some people when they are singing, for instance, now when you hear Beyonce singing and when you hear Rihanna singing, you know that Rihanna is her voice is different from Beyonce. When you hear Davido singing and you hear Wizkid singing, you know that this is Wizkid's voice and this is Davido's voice, because no voice can actually sound so alike. Though we have voices that are relating, like you feel like this person sounds like this person, but still there is always a difference. Like everybody has their own tone. That's where timbre comes in. That's what makes music colorful. Everybody has their own tone. So pitch differentiation of musical sound in relation to others on the scale is a function of the pitch level difference when organized, when music is organized. Like pitch differentiation makes you know the pitch level. Every, like I said earlier, sulfur note has different pitch. One pitch is different from the next pitch. You have to be very conscious. Like you have to listen consciously, intentional about your sulfur. And the more you sing it, the more you get familiar with the way each and every note sound. For instance, now I could play a piano. I could play a particular note on a piano. For instance, I give you do, and then I play another note, and I'll tell you that that's do. Okay, this is do. Tell me the other note. You have to relate it from do to that note. Maybe I play do now and I play so I do like do that's like do re. So you have to relate the first note to the next note. That's pitch basically, like you are relating the way they flow, the way they go, whether they are high or whether they are low. So that's basically all for music.
Okay, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope you enjoy Miss Biola for the last 5 minutes that is with you. Is my co-anchor this morning to come up with some topic from the music aspect. That's why I'm introducing her to you this morning. Thank you for listening to her. I believe you guys enjoyed this class. By the time we meet again on Friday, we are going to be doing a quick test. Note that a quick test is going to come live on Friday on all the topic we have treated so far. Please, it's very, very important to be in class. It's going to be a live class. It's not going to be a recorded class. So I think you really enjoyed the sound of our voice this morning talking about music. So guys, have a wonderful day for coming to class today. So by Friday, we are going to meet again on this station, the same time. Have a lovely day. Keep keeping yourself safe from COVID-19, and hopefully we are going to meet ourselves next month. Let me wish you happy new month in advance. Bye for now. Have a great day. Bye.